poster. Somehow she'd known Emma's aunt would have slept in one. By the time she had eaten and finished the coffee, the light outside was fading. She found 4 cut-glass candlesticks and put them to use. Then she set more candles around the room and lit some joss sticks. Tendrils of blue-grey, perfumed smoke snaked towards the plaster ceiling. As she undressed, pulling off her studded boots, leather trousers and black t-shirt, she looked at her reflection in the large overmantel mirror. Her eyes looked huge in her narrow face. Candlelight flickered on her pale skin, the garish Medusa mass of her hair. She stood naked except for a fishnet body, admiring the slender curves of her waist, the flow of her hips. Behind her, the bedroom had an odd look, somehow vibrant, larger than life. It was she who looked two-dimensional, like a cardboard cutout against the Victorian clutter. It seemed that the house looked at her. Rose let it look. Stroking her hands over her breasts, she moved them downwards over the slight pout of her belly. She caressed the rose tattoo on her left hip, dipped her fingers between her thighs, and stroked the dark hair that poked through the fishnet. This house was a real turn-on. She had fantasized about it for months, ever since Emma showed her the place where the reclusive old girl had lived. She couldn't believe that the house would be Emma's one day. That night she had dreamed about living there. The obsession to spend one night alone in the house had begun soon after. The dare was just an excuse, a vehicle for her to have her own way. One night, that was all it would take. "I'll make you mine," she said to the shadows. "Mine and Emma's." In the morning, she'd bring Emma up to this room, persuade her with lips and tongue and deft, slippery fingers that they should move in. They would lie on this bed together and make love in the dusty gloom. She would show her lover that there was nothing to fear. But first. Slowly now, she breathed in the vanilla scent of incense. Light sparked on the jewel in her nose as she lifted her arms and untied the rags from her hair so that it spilled over her shoulders in a tangle of vibrant red. Shivering slightly with anticipation, she climbed onto the bed. The dusty velvet coverlet was prickly against her skin. She closed her eyes. The house seemed to settle around her, the shadows moving in closer. A knot of excitement gathered in her stomach. Again, she imagined lying on the bed with Emma. Her hands moved over her body in a slow dance. She spent a long time stroking her breasts, cupping the underswell, lifting and squeezing the firm flesh. She loved touching her breasts. The nipples were darkly defined and incredibly sensitive. When she was fully aroused, they stuck out in wanton little tubes. Sometimes she came when Emma did nothing but suckle them. Her breath came faster as she unfastened the fishnet body at the crotch, drew it up to her waist, and tucked it tightly beneath her. The constriction around her waist, the nakedness of her hips and legs excited her further. The fishnet made little indentations in the flesh of her breasts, quilting her. Her nipples were hard little nubs, bisected by thin black threads. The tactile feel of the cords made her shiver with lust. Slowly, so slowly, she made circles on her bare lower stomach, working down to the patch of damp, scented hair between her thighs. Raising her knees, she let them fall apart and felt the caress of the dusty air on her parted sex. She sighed, the sound rustling into the room to be absorbed by the draperies. With the fingers of one hand, she pressed open her labia, exerting a slight pressure upwards so that her clitoris